Chapter 1: A Peaceful Life. Dawn on the planet Kareth 9 always arrived slowly, as if even the sun itself hesitated to awaken this world. Pale golden light crept over the low metal dwellings, reflecting off the thin mist left behind by the night, making the entire settlement seem suspended between two breaths of time. The Arkin family home sat on the edge of the 6th mining district, close enough that the hum of industrial machinery never truly faded, yet far enough that the ground did not tremble each time the geothermal engines roared to life. It was not a large house, built of gray alloy and ceramic plating, its low dome designed to endure dust storms. Nothing about it was remarkable, except that warmth still lived inside. Kael Arkin woke before the morning alarm, not because of duty or discipline, but because the familiar scent of baked bread slipped through the crack beneath his door, light enough that a single deep breath was enough to pull him from his unfinished dream. He opened his eyes to the ceiling above him, where thin fracture lines spread like spiderwebs, scars from an earthquake long past. For a brief moment, everything felt so peaceful that he almost forgot how dangerous the world beyond truly was. He sat up, reached for the work jacket hanging beside his bed, and stepped into the hallway. Voices drifted from the kitchen, fragmented, warm. "She mixed the salt with the sugar again," his mother's voice said, carrying both exasperation and amusement. "It's not my fault. The containers aren't labeled," came a smaller voice in protest, high and indignant. "That's what you said last time. Last time the lighting was bad." Kael smiled faintly, leaning against the doorframe, watching the scene as if afraid it might vanish if he moved too much. His younger sister Lysa stood on a low stool to reach the counter, messy black hair tied crookedly to one side, a streak of white flour smudged across her cheek. In front of her sat a large metal bowl filled with a thick, questionable mixture that only a child's blind faith could call dough. Across from her stood Elira, their mother, arms crossed, hair tied neatly behind her head. She wore an old work uniform, sleeves rolled up, revealing small scars, remnants of years spent at the water filtration plant. "Morning," Kael said. Lysa spun around, eyes lighting up. "Kael, you're up! Try this!" She held out a spoon, eyes full of expectation. Kael leaned down, inhaled cautiously, then closed his eyes as if bracing for a life-or-death trial. When the spoon touched his tongue, salt and sugar collided violently, and it took all his effort not to grimace. "It's good," he said solemnly. "Very expressive." Lysa beamed. Elira sighed, shaking her head, though a smile tugged at her lips. "You spoil her too much." "Someone has to protect artistic expression," Kael replied. The small kitchen filled with laughter, an increasingly rare sound in a world accustomed to machinery and warning sirens. Kael's father, Darian Arkin, entered last. He was tall, his back slightly bent from years of labor in the crystal mines, his beard flecked with gray, his eyes heavy with things no one should have to witness in a lifetime. He set a metal case on the table, removed his gloves, and gave a quiet nod to his family. "The news isn't good," he said calmly, though something heavy lay beneath his tone. The room fell still. "The listening post on the outer belt lost contact last night. They detected unusual movement beyond the perimeter. Could be interference, or it could be something else." Alira's hands tightened on the edge of the table. Kael felt a subtle shift in the air, a pressure barely perceptible but unmistakable. "Is it another war?" Lysa asked softly. Darian didn't answer right away. He looked at his daughter, then at Kael, his gaze lingering on his son. "No one knows yet," he said at last. "But if something does happen, remember this." He placed a hand on Kael's shoulder, then on Lysa's head. "Family is what remains when everything else falls apart." Kael nodded, though a weight settled in his chest, an unspoken sense that something had already begun to move. Outside, the wind picked up slightly. The metal panels of the roof vibrated with a soft rattle, like a distant whisper from something approaching. None of them knew that this peaceful morning would be the last they would ever share together. None of them knew that within hours, the sky above would no longer glow with pale gold, but burn with fire and steel.